Then why don't I start testing it out with a little Kamehameha?
Jaquez Jr.
What a legendary moment right there, as that was literally the first time that I ever referred to him as Kamehameha Jaquez Jr. And crazy thing is, that was almost a year ago. Do you believe it? That was before Jaime even played a single NBA game. And I remember because I made that little intro for a video talking about potentially trading him for Damian Lillard, and that's why Joe Cronin was in it. But anyways, we didn't trade Jaime for Damian Lillard, and I'm glad we didn't. Because over the last year, Jaime Jaquez has become one of my favorite NBA players. Y'all know I say I got the foot fetish for the footwork of Jaime Jaquez Jr. Again, nothing sus behind it. But I like footwork. Y'all see I got the Hakeem Olajuwon Funko Pop behind me, my favorite player of all time, because I like guys that can get into the post and just make the defender look stupid. And that's what Jaime Jaquez did for the entire length of his rookie year. He was showing that he could shoot the ball. He was showing that he could defend. He's showing that he got that heart in him. He got that dog in him. And he easily became one of the most fun Heat rookies in a very long time, really. I mean, I guess maybe since Tyler Hero, right? The Tyler Hero's rookie season was pretty fun as well. But Jaime showed that he not only is one of the best players in that entire draft class, I guess you could argue he's third, right, in the draft class, because we can't count Chet Holmgren. You got Wemby, Brandon Miller had a pretty nice second half of the season. It doesn't look like y'all are subscribed yet, so can you do that for me? It's completely free and it helps me out a lot. Obviously, an absolute steal and just an amazing pick overall. And he's a guy that is already a good player, but he's going to continue to be a great player in this league for a very long time. And I didn't even mention he's someone that I can call a friend, like a literal personal friend of mine. I have the picture here to prove it. And no, I'm just kidding. I met the guy for 10 seconds. He was a very nice guy. Well, actually, I don't know if he was a nice guy, because like I just said, I met him for 10 seconds. But I'm sure he's a good dude, right? We've seen him in the commercials with Jimmy Butler. He seems very funny and that stuff. But no, this was at an autograph signing, actually at a mall in Miami. I forgot the name of the mall, but I waited like 2 hours in line to get the photo. I was back in Fort Lauderdale for the weekend. I had nothing to do, and I was like, you know what? I heard Jaime is going to the mall. Let's go wait in line and get a picture and an autograph with the boy. So I got the photo, and the picture is actually right here. It might be hard to see, but this picture right here is the signed Jaime Jaquez picture I got at the mall that day. But enough about Jaime, because the Miami Heat also have a guy, as Brendan Tobin likes to call him, the little sweetener in Nikola Jovic. And that's the guy that was actually at the top of my draft wish list for the Miami Heat going into the 2022 draft. I don't have anything to prove it, but I promise you that was my number one guy. And I remember, because truthfully, the only reason I wanted him was because of his name. I said, well, he sounds similar to Nikola Jokic, so he must be pretty good. And I saw some highlights of him dribbling and shooting, and I said, that looks like a fun player, and I wanted him, and I was thrilled the day that we drafted him. And it turns out I was right, because over the course of the last season, we saw Nikola Jovic show how truly versatile he is. 6'10", shifty point guard, absolute sniper for a jump shot, and he's a guy that I think all Heat fans are very excited about going forward. And him and Jimmy Butler have become absolutely inseparable. I mean, Jimmy went all the way to some no-name city in Wisconsin just to watch Jovic play in the G League. They go out to dinner together and just overall have a very special bond, you know? And that to me means a lot, because we know Jimmy Butler's reputation with young teammates. He was very vocal about that in Chicago, saying how all the young guys were lazy. He didn't like that. Jimmy went to Minnesota, hated the work ethic of Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. Went to Philadelphia, hated the same thing with Ben Simmons. So for Jimmy Butler to love Nikola Jovic as much as he does, that tells me everything I need to know about Nikola Jovic as a person and his work ethic, because it truly must be first class. So as much as I love both of these guys, Jaime Jaquez Jr. and Nikola Jovic, it seems to be getting more apparent by the day that at least one of them will not be returning to the team next season. And truthfully, I hate to say it, but as a Heat fan, I think that's a good thing, because the only way to get substantially better going into next season, so we don't run it back, would be to trade one of those guys. Because outside of Jaime and Jovic, your really only other assets are Tyler Hero and 2 first-round picks, One of those picks is this year in 2024, which is obviously a draft class everyone is saying is weak. So I don't think Hero in those 2 picks is enough to get substantially better before the start of next season. And I know I've already made a ton of trade package videos. Certainly I'm working on plenty more. But one of the things that I struggle with whenever I'm playing in the trade machine is which one of those 2 young guys I would rather give up. Which is crazy because if you would have asked me 6 months ago at the start of 2024, I would have said easily I would have got rid of Nikola Jovic. Now, I really liked him as a player, but for such a long time, he wasn't even playing. And in 2023, so the first half of his second season, he only played 6 games, and it was at 13 minutes a night. Meanwhile, in that same span, Jaime Jaquez played 32 games, playing 30 minutes a night, and was averaging a very efficient 14 points per game. But then, of course, Jaime unfortunately had the groin injury early in 2024. He missed 6 games, and he really didn't come back as good. He even shot only 28% from 3, and that was kind of one of the biggest drop-offs in his production. A lot of Heat fans were thinking that maybe Jaime hit the rookie wall. I don't necessarily think so. I think that's part of it, but I'm more so contributing his down play to the injury because it kind of timed up exactly that way. Plus, Jaime still had some really good moments in that second half of that season. He had that Kings game where he absolutely took over down the stretch, and he had some pretty nice moments in the playoffs as well. So I think maybe if he did hit a wall, he at least got over it, but you could tell he wasn't 100% healthy because even in the playoffs, he did miss the last game. But it was in that same span, once Jaime got hurt early in 2024, that Jovic actually started to take off. Since January 1st, he played 36 games. He was up to over 20 minutes a night, although that was a bit inconsistent. Some games I feel like he was playing 30. In other games, he was getting the what I call Luke Babbitt treatment, where he'd start 8 minutes to start the game, start 8 minutes to the third quarter, and never play again. So his playing time was inconsistent, but he was still up to over 20 minutes a night, and his shooting really came along where he was almost at 40% from 3 in the second half of the season. And it's that in-season improvement for Jovic that really has me excited because the dude literally went from in the G League / DMPs to being a starter on a team that was grinding to make the playoffs, and then was a starter in the playoffs and was an actual legit contributor. So if he improved that much during a season, imagine how much better he's going to get now that he's going to have another full off season under this incredible Heat development staff. And of course, at 6'10" with a silky smooth jumper, very nice handle, the shiftiness that he has, his potential is obviously way higher than Jaime Jaquez. But I think his floor is also a lot lower too, because Jaime is a bucket right now. We know he can score the ball at a pretty elite level in the NBA, because when he was given the opportunity, when Jimmy Butler missed a lot of times, Jaime was basically scoring like 20 points a night. And we know he's still young and he's still going to get better as well. You'd like to see his 3-point shooting get back to around 40%, which is what he started the season at. So I really think the potential is there for that as well. But obviously, just common sense wise, Jaime Jaquez is 23. Nikola Jovic is 20. Imagine how much better Jovic is going to be in 3 years than he is today. Now, I should say, happy early birthday, Nikola Jovic. I'm recording this on January 7th, and his birthday is actually on the 9th, which is the day after this video will be uploaded. So it'll really only be a 2-year difference then. But again, imagine how much these guys are going to improve in this Heat system in that amount of time. And for a Heat team that's trying to win right now, who knows how many more years you have with Jimmy Butler, if Jimmy's even here next year. But that's not what this video is about. The point is, when you got Jimmy Butler, you need to go all in every season. So while Nikola Jovic may be a better player than Jaime Jaquez 2 years from now, Jaime Jaquez is the guy that I think is more ready to contribute right now. But fit-wise, you kind of need Nikola Jovic more because he was your starting 4. Who you going to start if Jovic isn't here? You going to start Kevin Love, who's getting up there in age. He obviously isn't at the stage of his career where he can play 30 minutes a night anymore. He'll give you a really good 15, but not much more than that. Are you going to start Hayward Highsmith or Caleb Martin? Well, one, you can't bank on those guys because they are free agents, or at least Caleb will be, assuming he opts out of his player deal. So you don't even know if those guys will be on the team. And if Hayward and Caleb somehow are able to both stay, I don't like them at the starting 4. They're too small. And that's something that you can't say about Nikola Jovic. He is a legit 6'10", and fit-wise next to Bam in that starting front court, it really is just seamless. Whereas Jaime Jaquez is likely a bench player for as long as Jimmy Butler is healthy. So these are all factors that I considered when coming to my conclusion over who I would rather keep and who I would rather give away. And the answer to that conclusion is, well, it really depends on the trade package that you're getting in return. Because if we're trying to trade for Trae Young, then you're very likely going to have a small backcourt with Trae and maybe Terry Rozier. So in that case, I would like to keep Nikola Jovic so we could retain some size. But if we were trading for Lauri Markkanen, well, obviously, he's the starting four now. So in that case, I would rather trade Nikola Jovic, keep Jaime Jaquez, and you could really use his scoring off the bench. Now, if we were trying to get a guy like Donovan Mitchell, well then, I would trade both of those young kids, because to me, Donovan Mitchell's worth it, and I will give up the farm. But that's all I got to say for this video, so let me know y'all thoughts down below. If there's a team that we're looking to make a trade with, and they say they want Tyler, both picks, and one of Jaime Jaquez and Nikola Jovic, which one are you guys willing to give up? I'll be reading all your comments, so I'm looking forward to it. Make sure to like the video so the algorithm boosts this out to everyone, and hit subscribe because I'm grinding to hit 5K before the start of next season, and I can't do it without y'all. Now tomorrow, on Sunday, I believe I'm going to upload. I have a very special video planned, something I'm excited about, and I think you guys will be excited to see as well. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'll see y'all next time, though. Peace out.
Look, pull up in your city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need that head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.